was fun. If you just missed us, we had a technical problem. Actually, no, I've just been told no. There was a massive typhoon that hit Monte Carlo. So we've had to fast forward a few days. It's still a little wet, but it's not a typhoon level. So that's what happened allegedly. We're here on PSGL. It's provided by, well, not provided by, provided by F123, brought to you by Sim Racing Centre and GT Omega. I am Otaka Logan, followed by T-Dub, and I've just seen an Alpine cut through the entirety of the wall there. That's crazy. Hello, T-Dub.
Hello. This is definitely not take two, like you said. The rain has subsided a little bit since we were last here. It is now the intermediate tyres, of course, but yeah, slightly different conditions, but the same challenge, of course, around this circuit.
So, just a reminder, we are running on intermediate condition tyres. You can see it is quite wet here. That's the Monte Carlo track, as they still need to fix the realism of cars driving through walls, but hey, I guess not much we can do. Everyone, I'm going to get on track. We should be seeing a few laps in every stint, because of course these tyres do not wear out as much, and I believe every lap you use them, the more they will dig into the surface, and you'll have much better laps, I think, going into the session. So 16 minutes left on the session, just enough time for everyone to get out and set 3 laps. Who should we go on board with?
Well, Fraser's just gone through Raskas, so the AlphaTauri will be the first driver to set a flying lap. Do you want to take us through that one?
Yes, we shall. So, coming down the stretch he comes. On board we go. No heroics in Santa Vault, please, Fraser. Oh, well, he didn't do any heroics, but he definitely hit the wall. Hopefully that's not damaged. As he comes up the hill, Beaurivage before the left-hand turn of Massenet goes on the outside. A lot of drivers like to take different ways of going through Massenet before the Casino Square, and then it is into Mirabeau, and then into the famous hairpin, coming into the probably the tightest corner in all of Formula One. Then it's turn 7, and then it will be Poitiers, before heading out of that and getting down this long tunnel. This is turn 9, and then you make your way down to the Nouvelle Chicane. Oh, that's a massive slide, and he somehow saved it. How has he done that? It's not going to be a legitimate lap time, I'm going to say that. But he comes through to back now at a relatively cautious speed. Before the swimming pool section, a double chicane comes at you like a shot before heading up to La Rascasse. And then finally, oh, he's given up. Oh well. So we go on with Giovanni instead, and he's made a little botch up of Rascasse. Now he's going to come out of Anthony Nogues, and then down this long stretch with Lifeboat sitting the first time, 120.937, and that is bettered by Giovanni with a 715. And they'll be doing another lap, I'm sure. I think Fraser may have got damage from that. Lifeboat now down to 4th. Sen now setting the fastest lap at 1:30.29. There's the time. Brando, the winner of last week's round, and indeed the championship leader with 21 points, gets on there with a 1:19.566, the first 1:19 of the night. Luca Rapassa up there with a 6:47. His teammate in the other Red Bull swaps the last 2 digits and gets a 6:74, just close behind. Tyre 4th with a 1:20.014. He finished 6th place last week, getting on the board for the first time. We have Fraser on second with 18, Lifeboat 16, who won the first round but had a disappointing round in Belgium. Angelo got 12, his first points last week, for a second place finish. And then we have Raphael and Zane. Actually, no, Zane is in 5th place. It is wrong on this tower. They do not do count back until like the end of it. But it should be Zane in 5th with 10, Raphael in 6th with 10, and Stem in 7th also with 10, of course, count back deciding it. Zane has a 3rd place and a non-point finish. Raphael has
in the wall.
3rd place and a DNF. Sorry, who?
Lifeboat just went purple, lowered the benchmark by nearly half a second, but
Oh
way
my.
too late on the brakes going into Sandoval. I think an AlphaTauri's down there off the road as well as Giovanni. So people really struggling. We saw Fraser on that opening lap clout the barrier. That's 3 drivers now that have come a cropper down at that corner. I think Lifeboat did pick up a little bit of damage in the process, as well as now Nico's retired, and that's just going through Casino Square.
That's a bad accident. I think he's clipped the inside of Casino. And that's the end of Nico's session. His best time will be 6th. Best for now, 1:19.927. Brando has just set a fast lap of 1:18.865. These times are just going to tumble down. I think the conditions may be improving. Either that or the drivers are getting better. So that's your top 7, and everyone below them has single-digit points. Enzo leading them with 4th, and he is a DNS from last race, and he is not here tonight. We have 16 drivers tonight. The Aston Martins and Mercedes are not here tonight. That includes Raphael, who failed to finish last week. Yasser Saki ain't here either, and neither is Azam and Caracelli. Unfortunately, no representation for the Aston Martin or Mercedes. So bad news if you're Fernando Alonso or Lewis Hamilton. Brando coming to the line and sets the benchmark even higher, 1:18.785. He's showing why he is the leader in F3. And 11 minutes, 18 seconds to go. It's going to take a long while to see that time come down.
Absolutely. 3rd lap on those tyres, you have to remember, battery starting to be drained a little bit, but as the confidence builds up and the track conditions do continue to improve, I think we are going to see those times tumble. But towards the end of the qualifying session, still 11 minutes to go, of course, but 3/10 the gap out in front with the 2 Hasses following the Red Bull of Zane, and then Tico running out our top 5. Field spread much greater than it was last week, of course, because this is a little bit of a harder track than Spa is. A few more walls to negotiate.
Yes, of course. Fraser's just come out to his first time in the night. It's a bit of a cautious one. It takes him up to 9th, just under a second behind Brando, and he does a massive slide into Santa Vault. Somehow gets out of there alive. Tito, well, in one piece anyways, coming through the chicane, the hairpin, taking it very cautiously, as you should do on these wet surfaces, before coming through Poitiers into the tunnel. So, anyone wondering, this is a 95-year-old track, started in 1929, is 3.337 kilometers long, and is 19 corners. He comes through 3 of them right now. That chicane is very devilish. You've got to be careful when you're going through it, and of course, if you cut it, you're going to get a massive penalty, I'm sure. I think you get 5-second penalty for cutting it, or is it 10?
I think it varies with how much speed you take across the Neufeld chicane. Just before Tito completes this lap, I just want to bring something to your attention, which was Angelo's just cheated death going through the swimming pool section. What? Massive swapper on, but managed to keep it out of the barriers, and that would have been a little bit of a brown pants moment. This McLaren of Tito stays at the bottom of the pile with the first lap of the session for them. Only a 20.82 seconds off the overall benchmark there.
I wonder if anyone actually wears brown pants. Anyway, Jeslar and Thiago are further down the order, as well as Tito, who's coming round, who's set his lap with a 1:20.853, 2 seconds and change down on Brando. Who do we believe is coming close to the line? I think it should be Zane on his out lap. As for anyone setting a lap, good luck me trying to find someone. I think Jeslar is approaching the end of his lap in that Alpine. No, he's taking it slow, so that's understandable. And there's another yellow flag there. I think it might be for someone slowing down. Is that Thiago coming through the chicane? It is, and that's a lovely view of that car going through the swimming pool section, or piscine.
Invalidated, though.
He has invalidated. Jesler's coming across the line to start another lap, coming through Santa Vault in that tractor of a car. I mean, Alpine. I'm sure I said Alpine right.
Absolutely.
Good.
Lifeboat has made another little error, came back into the pits, of course, put on a new set of tyres, you would imagine, and on that first attempt of this new run, going very, very deep up the hill towards Massenet, lucky to keep it out of the barriers, and that is the first run of this new stint gone. Lifeboat will continue to remain in third place.
He just had a massive slide out of Poitiers, going through the tunnel now, and now he slows into the chicane. Doesn't clip the barrier going into it, and out he comes towards Tabac.
I think people have started to find their limit. We're not seeing a lot of drivers improving anymore, so these might be the track conditions stabilising for the next few minutes or so. I wonder if we're going to get dry running come the end of the session. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to indeed. Zane is coming through and starting another lap. He was much slower in the last one. Ewan coming through, he's fourth right now, 3-4 for the Haas, and he's invalidated, very unfortunate for him. It's quite tough when you're in the wet sea, who's on a fast lap and who's not. I know Lorenzino is right now, he's cut through the Piscine clean. Now it's Larascas, he's got to be careful, those Alpines ahead may not be hindering him coming through Alpine Nogues, and now down the straight he comes in the lovely Monaco night. He is still in ninth place, but does improve by 300ths.
Couple of things to update you on as well. Jeslar jumping up into the top 5 there, 19.5. And the second McLaren of Tito, still struggling a little bit, has had a chat with the barrier somewhere around the lap, coming into the pits with half a front wing, still 16th and last at the moment.
And as we see the cars filtering through the Mirabeau hairpin, of course, probably one of the most, if not the most, iconic sight in Formula One, other than Max Verstappen just storming through as the winner every week. Not a Max Verstappen fan, by the way, it's just satire.
Zane was improving in the first couple of sectors, but made a mistake coming round Anthony Nose and ended up a couple of tenths down, so stays second place. Brando on board with at the moment as well, I've been looking at, has had a pretty messy first sector. Rapasa to the top, though, by just over a tenth and a half.
Indeed he is, and Brando will have some work to do. His time has been beaten, I think he just clipped the barrier at Nouvelle Chicane, T-Dub.
Yeah, just trying to find as much time as possible. It's been a bit of a scruffy lap, I have to be honest. And yeah, you can see 3.5 tenths down. Yeah. The first sector was really poor, went really wide through Mirabeau, and then round turn number 8 of Portier as well. So I'd imagine Brando will probably try and recharge, maybe come back into the pits. No, stays out. So we'll see if this is a double cooldown potentially, or if the Ferrari is going to go again. The second Ferrari has jumped up into third, though. Angelo making it. Red Bull, Ferrari, Ferrari, Red Bull, Haas, and then the two Alpines. It's almost a Noah's Ark situation, 2 by 2. If Zane wants to improve up into second, then that would complete the set.
Yeah, just like real Formula One, where only half the teams have scored points in the first round. Hopefully it's not like this every week. You listening to us, FIA? Anyway, this is not FIA, this is PSGL. What am I talking about? We've got the two Ferraris, as we said, in the top 3. We just got a mixed bag in the bottom half of the field. We've got a few drivers pitting to change their tyres. We've got 4.5 minutes left. It feels like it's flown by, hasn't it, T-Dub?
Absolutely. And we're not really seeing the track conditions improve. Like I said, they have stabilised a little bit. Sem was on a fast lap in that second Alpine, but made a little mistake in the middle sector, returns to the pit. So most drivers in the pit lane getting ready for what will be their final runs of the session. Sem's actually been held up there by teammate Jeslark coming out. Those two Alpines separated by just 1/100th of a second.
Yeah, not what you want to have when you're in teammates, wanting to hinder each other, ruin each other's lap. Oh, and Giovanno's clipped the wall trying to get into her back, and now there's a yellow flag for some reason. I think it must be for slowing down, and Giovanno's now slowing down too, so that'll be it for his lap. I'm sure we're not going to be having any illegal blocking penalties, because you wouldn't want to be next door in Monaco, would you?
Absolutely not. Hopefully we can avoid those. Brando did go for another attempt, but invalidated around the lap and returns to the pits after that second run, empty-handed, only second place, and has got some work to do with just 3 minutes to go, as most drivers are now leaving the pit lane for the final runs of the session. Could be an exciting one. Looks like it's going to be a Red Bull Ferrari duel like it was in real life a couple of years ago.
Yes, indeed. If you're in one of those apartment blocks you can see lit up, you've got the best seat in the house, young man or woman. It is just a fantastic sight to have one of those apartment blocks before coming through now Giovanni Potier. Then the tunnel. Good luck trying to get a spectator seat for the tunnel. You won't. It would actually be pretty sick if they had general admission at the tunnel. Of course, it wouldn't work because, of course, the medical cars, the medical team would have to, the marshal team would have to go in and out, and of course, drivers walking back, a la Kimi Räikkönen in 2006. Then he went to his own boat.
What a moment that was! What a moment that was!
Goated moment. And of course, we just went past the yachts, which lots of millionaires gathered around. Technically on international waters, not, because of course the territory extends into the sea. I think, what is it? What is length does the territorial waters go? I forgot.
I actually don't know.
Great British waffle trivia to get us going through here. That's Lorenzino in now what we call the Sauber, which will be black and green next year, or is it yellow? I'm not sure. I think it's more green, fluorescent green, lime green coming out off the final corner is the Sauber of Lorenzino. Can he make an impression in qualifying? It is 6th place for Lorenzino, but I'm sure he's going to be setting another lap as he comes out of Zandvoort once again.
Thiago also with a little improvement in the second Williams, jumping up into 11th place now after being bumped down by Lorenzino. These are going to be the final laps of the session. We've got a couple of cars going slowly. Traffic could be a problem when it comes down to the last 30 seconds or so, but at the moment it is Rapasa still ahead of the two Ferraris.
Jesler coming to the line. I think this is a fast lap. It is. It's 7th for Jesler as these... that's a car down at Sector 3. That is... it's Brando, just letting cars through. It's good for him, being sporting and letting people through. He won't be getting a penalty for that, I'm sure. Coming out of the corner is Brando to start it has to be his final lap. There's less than a minute and 18 in the session. So here he comes, Brando on his make or break lap for a pole position tonight. Luca Rapasa also on a lap, sliding into Miraboy. Won't want that. Coming out of it now. And that's a massive slide. It's like watching Initial D.
These guys they need oars rather than wheels. Angelo, though, is the one we've got to look at, improving by 0.2 of a second through the first sector. Has managed to carry that on, but a big wobble through the swimming pool section. Doesn't lose too much time. Is totally committed as the checkered flag's about to come out. This is quite the qualifying lap from the Scuderia Ferrari car as we come up into Antino's. Will this be pole position for Angelo? The two drivers in front have had a messy start to the lap. Is this going to be Angelo's to steal right at the death? No, jumps up ahead of his teammate into second, but still a 10th down. Rapasa continues to stay on provisional pole.
Luca Rapasa is not going to be setting another lap though, and he watches alone as Brando comes out. He's just been overtaken by his teammate Angelo by 17 thousandths of a second. Can Brando improve? He's looking good. Coming out of the second sector, coming out of the swimming pool, sliding into Larascas, a la Takumi Fujiwara in an AE86. Out of Andrino, so we go. Is it going to be good enough? Freezers went to second, but is it going to be good enough? Coming to the line. No, he hasn't improved. What happened, Brando? I think Rapasa may have this as Lorenzino hits himself into to back, which will ruin his lap. Thiago is invalidated. That's it. Luca Rapasa is on pole position. The reserve driver in for the absent Sacha has put that Red Bull on pole position, just like the real world.
Big shout out to Fraser as well. Came from the depths very late on to jump up into second ahead of the two Ferraris. Brando will be hugely disappointed though. Was looking favourite after the first couple of runs, but just couldn't get a clean lap in the second half of the session. Only 4th place.
Indeed, only 4th place for the championship leader, and in Monaco, that's pretty much a bad sign. You're not going to get into the lead. You're not going to have many chances to take the lead in this race. You need to be absolutely critical precision required as we are now about to head into the race. So we'll just review this grid one more time and we'll see where everyone lines up for the Monaco Grand Prix in virtual form. Luca Rapassa takes pole position with Fraser in the sister car on the front row as well by 3/4 of a tenth of a second. Angelo and Brando, it's an all red second row. Fifth is Rapassa's teammate Zane. Leifert and Haas gets on the third row as well. We've got Lorenzino and Jeslar on the fourth row. The fifth row is occupied by Ian and Sen 12. The sixth, Tiago and Taito, and all Williams lockout. Then it's Gavano, Kaya in the seventh, and finally Nico, who crashed earlier on, and Tito did not break into the 80-second barrier, so we'll start in dead last as we prepare for the Monaco Grand Prix in a virtual fashion.
The McLarens are really struggling this season, yet to finish a race so far and rooted to the bottom of the standings with 0 points, and now qualifying 14th and 16th. The Papaya cars really struggling to get off the ground so far this season, and they'll be hoping for a chaotic race to try and get them towards those points-paying positions.
Well, considering the state of the game, Monaco is guaranteed to be chaotic, as we have everyone ready for night racing as well. It just looks much more spectacular, but considering the weather and the time, I don't think we'll ever see an F1 night race in Monaco. Maybe something like Formula E one day, but I can't see Formula 1 because, of course, it's just not Monaco for them, is it?
No, I don't think we'll be seeing it. It is a bit of a pipe dream, but yeah, I think it is unlikely. In the little break we've got between qualifying and the race, be sure to check out the sponsors. There are links in the description. If you head over to GT Omega and use the code PSGL at checkout, that'll be a 5% discount. And of course, if you go over to SRC Sim Racing Centre, you use the same code for 10% off their services. Get involved.
Cheeky discounts there. So Monaco, of course, home of glitz, glamour, yachts and casinos. Did you know residents of Monte Carlo, looking at you, Charles Leclerc, are not allowed to play in a casino? Only tourists can. The king, or the Prince of Monaco, I do remember, reserved it for foreigners only. The opposite of pretty much almost everything in Japan. Anyway, well, that's true. Anyway, we are about to get ready here. By the way, I went to the casino here earlier. I lost my entire salary from PSGL, which is £0 and 0 pence. Anyway, here we go. We have 5 lights ahead of the drivers. And it's all of my power. I say, no heroics into Santa Vault, please! We're underway. It's left with Rapassa going into Fraser. Into the Santa Vault. Not into Santa Vault. Fraser into Santa Vault. Coming through the hill, it's Borajaj. And there's a side-by-side battle between Lorenzino and Jeslar. Oh, and he's spun around already and he's ghosted, thankfully. And Lorenzino going to the back of the grid. Horrible start for the Saubers as there's more battling happening between Taicho and Kaya into Mirabel and into the hairpin we go. There's more chaos as there's a massive pushing train between all the drivers in the midfield. That's the 2 Williams involved. It is already kicking off and it's just lap 1.
Yeah, a little bit of argy-bargy involved. We haven't seen the big first lap accident, but people are definitely rubbing each other up the wrong way. Lorenzino hugely unfortunate, but has managed to catch up to the back of the pack.
Rubbing up each other the wrong way.
That is an expression. Look it up.
What is this, a bubble bath? It feels like it right now. You can see that lovely view of the yachts, but that's not what we're here for. We don't do crowd shots here on PSGL. We do this. Fantastic racing. Lap number 2 is about to begin. It's going to be a long race, ladies and gentlemen. 39 laps, and we've just completed 1.
Gap out in front, already over a second, so Rapassa's tactics are clear. Bolt as soon as possible and break away from the pack behind. Only 4 drivers on the hard tyres, everybody else favouring the yellow striped medium rubber. Yes,
leading this race is a big edge for you because, of course, the DRS can only be used on the stretch and it's only active until lap 3. So when you got a 1 second lead, you know you're on fire.
Absolutely, and we've had a bit of a concertina effect into the hairpin for the second lap in a row. Giovanna going into the back of the McLaren of Kai. Doesn't look to be any damage for the AlphaTauri, just a little bit of time lost in that incident there.
So we come through Nouvelle Chicane, do the mid-pack runners. Jeslar leading that mid-pack, it seems. Actually, no, Lifebout is. And they come through to back. They've got to be careful when coming through to back. And that is a horrible angle. I am sorry, Codemasters, but do better when it comes to these. I don't mean to get on my soapbox during the race, but look at that. Look at Rapasa on reserve duty, already 1.7 seconds ahead. Is probably going to punt out the pit stops though, because you need to be very fast on this track to get undercuts and overcuts executed perfectly. And on Monaco, it's a bit tougher to do that.
Timing's going to be everything with the pit stops. If you come out in a large amount of traffic, that could completely scupper your race potential. So, everybody's got to be very aware with what's going on. I think we've got a McLaren off, though.
We do have McLaren.
That's the Haas of Owen, no front wing.
Yeah, the Haas of Owen has lost one wing, and he's going to have to go 3/4 of the track without that wing. And he's going to be careful. Giovanni behind is going to get very impatient. He should be yielding the position here in all fair and game. Here, he's got to be thinking about sportsmanship here, and I don't think he has every right to, but if you don't want to get into a collision, I'd advise you succeed the position to Giovanni. That's, speaking of McLaren, that's Tato gone completely off there at Nouvelle Chicane.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. It looked like he just clattered over the curbs and then ended up facing the wrong way. 5 seconds off the back of the pack will, of course, gain a position. Lifebout's into the pits, though, in the other Haas, so that's not going to benefit the team at Owen. What's gone on with that?
I think he might have damage. They wouldn't be changing this early, as the safety car blocks my view. And Owen's retired from the session. And that
Rapassa's gone. Rapassa's in the wall!
Rapassa's in the wall!
The casino square!
Unbelievable! The guy who got pole position on reserve duty has binned it at the casino square. It's landed on red when he bet on black, and he is out of here. Freezer, sorry I didn't catch that. I was totally not expecting that. I was focusing on the fact that the two Hasses were having a horrendous day out here, and now Luca Rapassa is in the wall. Monaco, chaos, a perfect storm.
The worst possible scenario was looking so comfortable. 2 seconds was the margin, but then pins it into the wall at the exit of Casino Square. What is going on there? Hugely unfortunate, but it does bring the safety car out, and it does rescue the Haas of Lifeboat, who will be able to catch up to the back of the pack. Fraser now into the lead. The two Ferraris, though, are going to be smelling blood on this restart.
So safety car is out for the first time tonight. It might be a long night for the safety car. Lifebout timed that one to perfection. Of course, he didn't mean to. He wasn't expecting a safety car to come out. He'd think everyone would take this very cautiously, but no, the safety car is out. And Luca Rapassa will be kicking himself. He had it all to do. It looked so easy. He had the edge. He was 2 seconds ahead, and poof, he's out. He went to the casino. He lost everything he had, and that proves just the house always wins.
Yeah, I don't even know how to sum it up. You just got to feel so sorry for what's gone on. Obviously, self-inflicted error, but when it does happen, it is hugely unfortunate. And unable to back up that points finish from last week, of course, coming home in 8th place, grabbing 3 points for their troubles. A couple of cars have come into the pits, though. A smattering of drivers towards the lower reaches of the top 10, and a little bit of a split of medium and hard tyres going on. Lorenzino at the back of the pack once again in that Sauber for the second time today on a brand new set of medium tyres. Would that be to maybe try and go for softs towards the end of the race? Strategy's going to be very interesting.
It is going to be now we've had a safety car, and we might have more, so stay tuned, everybody, if you're on safety car watch. Or if you're just playing a drinking game involving the safety car, please don't try this at home. We are family friendly. So, I mean, you could do chili peppers, but we do not encourage this kind of stunts. We're just trying to find a reasonable satirical excuse. And Jess is probably going to kill me in the interim. But Fraser is leading this race ahead of the two Ferraris. And then it's Zane. Fraser didn't have to do much to get the lead, if you may have heard. That was a horrible crash for Luca Rapassa, and something you rarely see. You don't see crashes at a casino very often. Usually it's at just before Mirabeau or Saint-Devote, or perhaps the Tabac and Piscine. So Quite rare to see that happen there, but it is all over for Rapasa. So we are down to 14 drivers already, and with these pit stops still happening, I'm sure we'll be having to take another lap to get ready.
Yeah, Lorenzino's back into the pits with a hard compound tyre, so I think that's a second stop, potentially, for the Sauber in the first 6 laps. What are you going to do if you're Fraser, though? The lead has quite literally fallen into his lap. How do you defend from these two Ferraris? How do you control the pace? Because Luca Rapassa was looking comfortably quicker, and the Ferraris were right on the tail of the AlphaTauri before the Red Bull piled it into the barrier.
Oh, it's going to be really tough to overtake, but I think he should use a bit of his energy when they get going. When DRS gets back on, as long as assuming he keeps it perfectly out of the barriers, I think he might be all right. And if he has any challengers later, he will probably have to save that battery up if need be, just in case that comes to fruition. And by the way, Angelo was very close to Fraser there. They slowed down. We are going to be doing another lap behind the safety car, it seems. Lawrence being too far back to get us going. A whole pack has to be bunched up to get racing again. That is the rules of thumb of being a steward in PSGL. Actually, it's automated. I wish they had a thing where you could bring the safety car out, but they probably bring it out every lap if they just abused it. But no, we don't have that. It's just automated. It would be fun if we had like a stewarding role in it, but I don't think you can have that.
I mean, you certainly wouldn't be able to have that in open lobbies. That would get... I think the power would be abused quite a lot there, but it is potentially a feature that could be discussed in the near future.
You get a penalty. You get a penalty. Everybody gets a penalty. It's just like the Oprah Winfrey show all over again, which we saw on Andy Deck a week ago. They gave everyone in the audience a holiday because they were, very charitable people.
How nice. How considerate.
You don't watch Saturday night television, do you? It's all right. It's not a bad thing if you don't.
Who watches TV? We've got sim racing to be watching.
No, yeah, but we'll get tired of watching it if we had to do it all the time. Just do it once a week's good enough for me. Anyway, cars really close up together, I should say. Come on, safety car, go faster. I know it's an Aston Martin after all, but come on. I mean, yeah, that's the fastest it can go, really. I mean, at this rate, they should just have Red Bull be the safety car, which it usually is.
Just give it a new lick of paint, a new livery, and it might be a little bit quicker. Safety car is in this lap, though. Race control giving us that message. And, Fraser is going to be under huge pressure to get this restart right.
Angelo hits the back of Fraser. I'm surprised he didn't get a penalty for that. Look how much he's holding them up. This could end up in disaster. People could be getting penalties. This looks very sketchy from Fraser. He's just holding them up as much as he can as the safety car, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, comes into the pits. It's quite an elevated pit, but anyway, when's Fraser going to go? Oh, don't tell me he's going to leave it till the end. Oh, he's slowing right down. Angelo's getting really anxious. This might end in disaster if he's not careful. He finally gets underway. We're back underway here in the Monaco Grand Prix in virtual form on PSGL. And it's Fraser ends the lead. No heroics in Alexander Vaught, please, Angelo. And he keeps it there. And there's Brando for third place, who has a chance of getting a win now if he can catch up to the top two. That includes his teammate, Zane there further back. Meanwhile, Kaya's right up close to the Williams of Taito, with Thiago ahead as well. With further back, we have Nico and Lifebout fighting for 10th place. Tito into Mirabel he goes! And a big attempt, big dive from Nico, making a recovery drive work, and he's into the points.
Yeehaw moment up into the top 10 for the Sauber and can set his sights on the second McLaren in front. Just want to comment on Fraser. Did get the restart right, but had a massive wobble coming out of Casino Square. It could have been the second time we saw the race leader pile it into the barrier, but thankfully for the AlphaTauri driver, they do continue unscathed.
They do indeed, and he has a half a second lead heading into Tabac, and then it's La Piscina past all them crowds and yachts. It's funny how they set up those grandstands floating on basically the sea. It is absolutely mind-boggling, but they make it work. And that's a move into Lariskas! Oh my goodness me, what has happened there? Kaya just barging past Taito. He's went into the pits. I don't think he even expected him to go in the pits. And is that damage for Nico? I'm not sure, but whatever it is, he's behind the McLaren of Kaya, but ahead of the other McLaren of Teddo, who's made his way from 16th to 10th, and he's about to lose position to Lifebout, or is he? Not quite. That's a bad camera angle, I'm sorry. Oh, whoa, whoa, what is this? Barging through like it's Black Friday. But a bit early for that, actually. That's November.
Yeah, a little bit of the elbows out for Tito, but does hold on to the position provisionally at least. Out in front, look at the gap though. Just 0.2 of a second. Angelo right underneath the rear wing of that AlphaTauri.
We could be seeing more barging business between the top two now. It's just Barge City, it seems. And the barge, we mean barging, not the barge in the sea. Of course, I think there was a car that went into the sea once. I can't remember. It was in the 60s.
It was Ascari. I'm pretty sure it was Alberto
Oh, yeah,
Ascari.
it was!
Two-time world champion, of course.
And I think it was around the time where the F1 cars weren't F1 cars, they were F2 cars. It wasn't actually called F1, but retrospectively it is. But now there's a move for Lifeboat into 10th, and it's down the stretch as well.
Finally gets that done. Dropped 3.5 seconds to the group in front, but does finally get ahead of the McLaren Ticos back into the pits. I think the Williams is missing a front wing there. Came into the pits on the previous lap, back in on the very next lap. So some disasters going on down there. Teammate up in 7th. Disaster, though, for the second Williams. And now it's up to Giovanni and Lorenzino to get past this second McLaren of Tito, who looks to be struggling a little bit with pace at the moment.
Yes, indeed, and Giovanni starting to fall behind. Oh, sorry, Tito's starting to fall behind Lifeboat for 10th place. So there's a move there. That is Kaya into 8th. What a move into Nouvelle Chicane for the McLaren. Into 8th place goes Kaya. Oh, he hit the wall.
Tapped the barrier.
He's hit the wall. Sorry. And that's cost him a bit of time, and now suddenly Nico is back into prime position and take this position. Apologies for the horrendous Love Live reference, but down they come once again, starting their 11th lap on this course, chasing Tiago, and he's got a penalty.
First one of the race, could be seeing a few more track limits. There's not too many places where you've got to be careful, but look at the run that Nico had out of Sandoval, unable to force that Sauber alongside the McLaren going down into Massenet. And for the moment, Kaya stays in front, but look, trying to find a little gap. There's contact going into the back of the McLaren. Not enough room for Nico to send it up the inside, or the outside rather as well, going into Mirabeau, halting the charge of the Sauber. But yeah, getting a little bit messy in the midfield.
Yeah, they're just pushing each other like, go on, keep moving. And I think that's what Angelo doesn't want to have Fraser do, because he's almost there trying to pass him. You don't have to rely on DRS at all in this race. You have to rely on guts and glory, or guts to get the glory. Angelo coming through, chasing down Fraser. Oh no! He's got a penalty! This might be the first of many though, so I wouldn't lose hope. But the top four all nice and bunched up together and trying to fight for the win right now as Nico gets past Kaya, and I missed it.
Well, I actually think that Kaya was ghosted there, so a little bit of help there for the Sauber of Nico, who does finally get up into 7th and into 8th, sorry, can assault the Williams currently holding that 7th place. Lifeboat has managed to catch up to the back of this trio, making it a quad, and yeah, should be on the offensive pretty shortly as well.
Oh!
The wall! Take the inside!
Kaya is there, and it's another safety car! That was a horrendous hit into the casino, and once again, the house wins, as it always does. Fraser, that is not going to be used for Angelo, because now he's going to have everyone chasing him down with that penalty in hand. And surely we're going to be getting more pit stops now, as I can't change from any of the onboard views. Come on, give me something better than that.
Second time in the race, somebody's gone bowling into the barrier through Casino Square. This time it was clipping the inside wall for Kaya, and yeah, that wheel wasn't going to last with that impact. And yeah, a passenger once the wheel had gone off, and that is the third retirement of the race, and that is 5 out of 6 retirements for McLaren so far. If Tito can get to the end, which is proving a little bit unlikely if you drive the Papaya car, that'll be their first finish of the season. The leading trio, everybody coming into the pits that didn't under the first safety car, as Zane is actually sped. No, it's a collision. Wow.
Oh dear, that may be reviewed. Actually, will he have to serve it? No, he hasn't served it, but next time he comes in, he will have to serve it. But he's on hard, he might make it to the end.
So Tito now leads this race ahead of Lorenzino. Zane up into 5th. Then comes Jesler. Brando's dropped all the way down into 7th, courtesy of having to stack behind the teammate. And then it's Tiago, Nico, and then Lifebout rounding out the top 10. But yeah, we have had a little shuffle for positions in that pit stop window.
What is this race? Tito is leading the race. It's lap 13, by the way. Where's the safety car? It's in the tunnel. I hope it does not glitch. But, I've done it now, haven't I? Wait. Hold on.
Commentator's curse.
I thought I saw rain for a second.
I mean, if you did, that is going to be quite the event. I can't see it on my screen.
It's probably just me. I probably just saw a vision. But yeah, Tito is leading, and he started last, remember. The Marcus Winkelhock experience. At least it's not the Willy Wonka experience.
Interesting one there. Lorenzino, you have to remember as well, has been last twice in this race. May have started 7th, but has been residing for the majority of it towards the back. Now back up into 2nd place with 7 lap older tyres than the drivers behind, but obviously is a quick driver and we're hoping to get past Tito fairly quickly on this restart. We could have a bit of a cluster at the start because you've got a slow driver on older tyres, or a slower driver, sorry, on older tyres, and then another driver on older tyres, and then you've got the leading pack. And yeah, it could be a bit messy.
If he's defending like a lion, he will. So yeah, as I mentioned, of course, it's been about a week since that Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow. And it looks like if what the Las Vegas Grand Prix could have been if they kept having these dream covers go insane. But no, they redeemed themselves in the end, I guess. But yeah, my friend actually took the photo of the Oompa Loompa in what looks like a laboratory, and that's now went viral. Crazy, right? You know, when you know someone who's like claims fame, that's quite interesting, eh?
It's a small world.
It's a small world. Well, it's 8 billion people.
6 degrees of separation, though. You're only six people away from a famous person. You're obviously only one person away because you've got a viral picture out there with your mate.
Well, then we got George Morgan.
That is true.
And hail to George Morgan, by the way.
What a guy.
I was speaking to him last night.
Safety car in.
Yeah, safety car is in his lap. I was speaking to him a couple nights ago, the night of the qualifying, and we just talked about how dominant Max is. But anyway, here we go. Tito is ready to get rolling in the lead. It's not very, in all due respect, he has not quite much experience of being in the lead. He's already shooting out of... Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? That is strictly against the rules. He slowed down after speeding up. He's definitely going to get a penalty for that. And now Lorenzino is coming up, and he's hit him. He's hit him. Where has he ended up? He's still in the lead. That is very controversial, though, from Tito. He should be getting a penalty for that. And I don't mean to be backseat steward, but I'm sure everyone else would agree, driver or viewer. And what's happened there?
Angelo's been in the wall. Angelo's been in the wall as well. Broken front wing at the exit of turn 1, dropping down into last place, getting out of everybody's way. Lost out to Zayn Anishi and then smashed into the barrier. We've got another bit of contact. Brando's being pushed into the wall by the Alpine, has absolutely none of it and gives a little bit back to hold on to 5th place.
Get your defibrillators at the ready. I might be losing it here because there's chaos everywhere. Lorenzino getting sick of being behind Tito, who is on the oldest compound imaginable, as an Alpine goes completely across the chicane and will have to give up the position. As he comes through to back, still holding on. Lap 15 and it's already kicked off. The pitchforks are all out.
Look at this train behind Tito. I'm amazed that Lorenzino has no damage after being put into the wall on the entry to Anthony Nose. Look at how close, pushing the McLaren down the straight. This would be a brave move to send it around the outside of Sandoval. Thankfully, there were no heroics this time. 6 behind for the time being. Will it be the run with a bit of ERS up the hill in towards Beaurivage? No, having to think about Fraser behind, who's equally close to the back of the Sauber. 4 cars, look how close they are together. You can put a blanket over them. Going defensive is Tito. Down into Mirabeau, bit of a lock-up as well. Lorenzini has to get out of it. Fraser trying to nip at the heels of the Sauber car, looking for a route around the outside. And they all lock up, and a bit of contact in there as well. Look, we've got all cars now separated by about a couple of seconds, apart from Angelo at the back.
Where are you if you're not watching this? Where have you been? This is absolutely chaotic, but we love every second of it because we're just sitting shouting at it and enjoying the ride. Through we come as Latino leading on lap 16. He started last. All he has to do is, well, he has to stop eventually, but if the safety car comes out again, you can guarantee he's got a penalty. He's completely went across and Fraser goes down the inside. What a move as Lorenzino's coming in. He's got damage, I think.
Hugely opportunistic stuff from Fraser. Saw the smallest of gaps up the inside into Raskas. Said thank you very much as that AlphaTauri was forced up the inside. And that is now second place. Lorenzino definitely into the pits. Didn't see if there was a front wing change involved. But onto a set of medium compound tyres.
Sorry, T-Dub, side by side, go Chesler and Lightbout into Massene! And Lightbout gets through, but here comes Chesler again! Chesler into Marlborough, and he cuts off Lightbout, going into the corner. Fantastic driving from both as Tiago and Nico battle for 5th. This is absolutely mental! Have you ever saw such crazy driving in this league at Monaco?
Has to be the best Monaco race of all time. We could have a pass for the lead though. Fraser under a 1/10 of a second underneath the rear wing of the McLaren, unable to force a way through. Just a quick update on the Lorenzino incident. There was no front wing change, just new tyres.
Sorry if I'm screaming down the mic, sorry if I'm giving you an earworm, because this is just too crazy to keep up with. This is just absolutely insane. And it's only lap 17. Teno still leads from last place Fraser, who pretty much was handed the lead after the pole sitter crashed out. Here he comes, going to the outside. What's Teno going to do? Oh, he pushed him off! And he's still out of the lead. How has he managed to do that? They're all going still side by side through Beaurivage. Masseny, Fraser has somehow been very patient and kept it together.
Somehow we're still in the same order and somehow no damage. And is that a Williams trying to send it around the outside? It's actually Nico on the offensive, side by side into the Lowe's hairpin. Look at the jostling for position into the wall. Almost goes the Haas and the Sauber. Barging through goes Nico ahead of Tiago up into 5th place. Tiago dropping down will now have to defend from the Haas of Lifebout through the tunnel. The Alpine swapping places as Jesler got out of shape. Coming out of the tunnel around the outside is that a look at the inside for Zane trying to capitalise on Fraser being out of position. The Williams is off the road again, trying to get 5th place back.
If I was Fraser here, I'd be cracking to my limit. I would be losing my nerve. What is that? Fraser goes right in the back of Tito. Rules? What rules? Formula 1, take note. And corner cutting penalty for getting replaced by Tiago. They're just breaking every rule imaginable. Just like that Quidditch World Cup match back in, 1400 or something. I mean, read up about Harry Potter lore if you want. But I've run out of things to describe this mental racing here at Monaco. And where else but Monaco? This is how Monaco can be exciting. There's sparks coming out of one of the barriers I've seen. Is someone doing work on that? I have absolutely no clue why you would do that in a race.
Got the construction team already trying to fix some of the issues. Zane right on the back of Fraser still. Is this going to be, 5th time's a charm? Going down into the Nouvelle chicane. No battery being used by the AlphaTauri. Not quite as close as Fraser has been on the previous couple of laps. Zane unable to try what he tried on the previous lap, sending it up the inside of the AlphaTauri, who was out of position, of course. Brando equally 3.5 tenths back, and then it's still Tiago in 5th.
Alright, thankfully for me, I think the action's calmed down somewhat. Tito has got what I'd say in this scenario, a comfortable lead over Fraser. We've not got Fraser breathing down his gearbox, and somehow the leader of this race has stayed in the lead with those tyres that have to be changed. But here we go into Silent One again, and Fraser starts to get extremely frustrated, and now Zane is going to come up the hill and try and challenge for that position. Through he goes now. By the way, are we live? I'm starting to think, are we live? This is too good to watch.
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. And there's Tiago on the inside of Brando. Brando, the championship leader, will not be faced, but here he comes again. Not close enough.
There was a beautiful move up the inside into Mirabeau from Giovanna getting ahead of Sem. It was clean as you like up into 7th place and has managed to catch up to the back of this group as well. Zane very close to the back of Fraser. Could we be seeing a swap into the Nouvelle Chicane? Sends it up the inside. Will there be space just about? Fraser smashes into the sausage curb, almost clips the wall that sticks out on the left-hand side. Staying in the same order. Fraser's lost a second but manages to hold on to 2nd place. Crucially enough, Zane getting frustrated as well behind them, with Brando just 0.3 of a second back as well. Brando very late.
How do these gladiators come out of these moves unscathed? It's like watching an episode of Jackass on MTV. I'm sure I'm allowed to say that. It is another name for a donkey, I think.
Yeah, that's allowed. That's definitely allowed. Look how close we are. Is this the move for the lead? No, it's not. There was contact, I'm sure there was, between Tito and Fraser. Fraser put out of position, trying to send it up the inside of the hill through Massenet and then around the outside of Casino Square. And now has a whole heap of cars lining up to try and capitalise on that time loss. But still Zane unable to force his way through. Brando and Tiago still there. Nico, then comes Giovanni and Sem, the top 8, all in this train. Angelo has managed to get past Lorenzino around there somewhere as well and is now only 6.5 seconds off the back of this queue.
T-Dub, this isn't a train. This is a centipede of cars coming through Monte Carlo.
I am a huge fan of that analogy. Everyone's pretty equidistant at this stage now. Sem a little bit detached at the back, struggling to stay within the 1 second window. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, but Zane is almost pushing Fraser through the swimming pool section and up towards Raskas. Brando equally doing the same to the Red Bull. Look how close they are. You cannot follow this closely around Monte Carlo. You just can't do it.
Here he comes again on the outside. Tiggle's not having it. Fraser's cut off. Fraser loses a position. Tito completely bending the rules, and now Zane has the chance to get into the lead.
Fraser's been in the wall. I think there was contact between him, Tiago, and the barrier. No damage to be seen, cosmetically at least. Nico trying to capitalise as well, sending it up the inside into Mirabeau. Through goes the Sauber, bit of a barge on the apex, but manages to go through. A little bit of a head loss maybe, and into the wall goes Nico. Fraser was very late on the brakes into the Lowe's hairpin, holds on to 5th place, but no longer the net race lead for the AlphaTauri driver down in 5th, and I think that was just a little bit of impatience cropping into the race there. Could have just sat behind and waited until the McLaren stop. Is the Sauber and Nico going to have a look at the inside? No. Still in front as we were. There is contact.
Nico and Fraser going in, and Fraser now down to 7th, and he's still ghosted. Is it going to be 8th or 7th? I'm not sure. He comes out ahead of Sem, so it is 8th for Sem and 7th for Fraser. How have these drivers not crashed out? And Zane is spun around.
What's going on?
I say, Brando's in. How is Brando in the lead? I missed it. Brando is in the lead, Tito in 2nd, and Tiago in 3rd. He did have the lead anyway on net. Did Brando and Tito, I think, might have damage.
2 of the leading contenders out of the picture in the space of about 1 lap. Fraser down in 6th now behind his teammate. Zane down at the back with half a front wing and into the pits. Tito continuing to lose places. Through goes Nico. Giovanni trying to get involved as well. Tico is out of the race behind. Do we have a safety car? It's a virtual safety car.
Tico is out of the race. It is... Oh no!
Penalty
Fraser's got a penalty with Tico. This is just the worst for Fraser. He's now got a penalty. And what is going on?
Illegal overtakes, it must be. Illegal
Oh,
overtakes,
yeah, of
Fraser having to
course.
let Tito back through. I wasn't convinced the AlphaTauri got ahead of the McLaren by the time the yellow flags were called out, and my fears very much realised there, having to drop back down into 6th. I'd be amazed if Tito doesn't come into the pits on this lap. Got half a front wing as well on that McLaren, so definitely will be coming into the pits. But now, Brando, we said that it fell into Fraser's lap early on. It has well and truly fallen into Brando's lap because Fraser and Zane have been caught out being a little bit too impatient in that train.
And you know the worst thing is, I missed what happened between Zane, Tito, and Brando in the best position imaginable now. Virtual safety car coming in. Tito is coming in the pit, so his tenure as the leader has come to a real end. And I think Fraser is staying out. Yes, Zane will be at the back now. Angelo's coming in. They're back underway now. It is TRT Brando in the lead by 1.4 seconds of Thiago, who has a penalty. Nico in third, with Giovanni breathing down his neck in fourth place. Fraser in fifth, but he had the lead for a while and he's sliding around like it was a drift montage. The Nürburgring hairpin.
Well, everything's just sort of calmed down a little bit now. The field has spaced out a little bit. And we've had our big controversial instance. Brando with a penalty, though. That just gives Tico a sneaking suspicion that this race is very much back on. No penalties. They're very much in this fight as well. And if Giovanni on those medium tyres can get ahead of the Sauber, could be favourite for this one.
Oh, Giovanni's got very close to Nico for third place and pretty much net second. Because remember, Brando has a 3-second penalty. Thiago, I believe, has a 5-second penalty for an illegal overtake.
8 seconds for Thiago. 8 seconds, so definitely going to drop off the podium. Giovanni, this is the opportunity, though, to get up into third place. Had a pretty decent run out of Sandoval, but unable to capitalise on it up the hill and stays behind the Sauber for the time being. Behind them, Fraser, 5-second penalty, struggling to keep up with this pair. Is this a look up the inside? Yes, it is. Commits a little bit of contact once again between these two. They can't get enough of each other. No space around the outside for Giovanni. Door slammed firmly shut by Nico and stays in third for the time being.
Somehow still in third. He started in 15th after a crash in qualifying. What a recovery from Nico in D in the LDL. Has also been racing in the competitive racing series, commentated by myself and Byron Hale, of course, our social media manager. That's a mistake from Nico and Giovanni. Sees an opening. He won't be going into back. That would be literal suicide. But he's going to try something up La Rascasse. He's got a good run heading it. And into Pistine we go, and now La Rascasse we go, and he's made a mess of that as Giovanni, but he's still staying behind, and Fraser up there as well. Brando's lead is now clear. He's still in the lead. Still very well in the lead, both that 3-second penalty, and he's just making this look easy now, it seems, and he can get to the end of the race. If there is a spanner in the works, oh gosh, help, please. And oh, look at that, Giovanni and Nitro. Nitro, this isn't Gladiators. Nico getting very close to each other, and is there going to be a move? No, not quite. As they keep battling, the drivers behind will come closer.
Can't rule Lifeboat out of this. Has just managed to pass Fraser up the hill into Massenet. Now running in 5th place and on much fresher tyres than all of the drivers around. Don't count the Haas driver out for a second win of the season.
That would be mental. But Lifeboat starting to approach Giovanni. Oh gosh, the stewards are going to be busy tonight, I tell you.
That is going to be a long evening. Probably go into the morning as well. This is the battle, though. 3rd, 4th and 5th on the road. Fraser clearly doesn't have the pace to stick with them. Giovanni pushing Nico through this final sector, this incredible final sequence of corners. Lifeboat looking for any opportunity to try and get ahead of either of them.
Well, you just saw about, 10 minutes of chaos, and we might have 10 more minutes of chaos and some, because this battle's starting to heat up, and this is for a podium. Second place, pretty much provisionally, if Thiago gets more penalties, and needs to keep on fighting Nico and Giovanni for the podium! And it's a big, bad moment for Nico. He's lost 2 positions now. Giovanni is into 3rd, and Lifeboat's into 4th.
Nico was given a little bit of a helping hand off the road almost, or into the barrier by Lifebout, given a little bit of a love tap going through Massenet, and the Hats helping themselves up into fourth. And 9 seconds off the lead. It's going to be a tall order with 12 to go, but anything is possible. Another safety car brings Lifebout right into this fight.
It does indeed, and Giovanni still has Lifebout in his rear wing mirror, and that's Fraser losing another position to Angelo. It gets worse for the the front row sitter. Not pole, that was the passer, and he went out of the race. In Casino, he put it all on red. It came all on black, and it came in red. Lifebout now back, and that's Nico coming in the pits. He must have damage.
I think so. I think that's just a regulation stop. Those tyres are absolutely dead. Through goes Lifebout. It didn't look the cleanest move of all time, but it was certainly effective up into third. Jesler under huge pressure from Angelo up the hill as well. The Ferrari, switches to the left-hand side. Bit of a dummy involved and gets through easy as you like into the top 5.
Lovely jubbly from Angelo. It puts him into 5th place and right into contention for the podium.
Got a penalty hanging over his head.
Yes, he does.
Be careful of that. 3 seconds, so we'll have to overtake Giovanni and Lifebout and then pull out a 3-second margin. And, with the state that those soft tyres are going to be in by the end of the race, you think that is probably unlikely. Lifebout has taken a few tenths out of Brando's lead. The gap is hovering just around 9 seconds now, or just under 9 seconds now. It was around 9.5. So Lifebout is coming, but Brando's got to be careful with that 3-second penalty.
Yeah, and Brando's also got to be hoping that there's no safety car comes out, because if that's the case, Lifebout will take the victory. As it stands, he's in 2nd place right now. Remember, Giovanni has 8 seconds worth of penalties. 3 seconds for Brando, Angelo, and Tito, and Fraser has 5, but Thiago there with 8. It's going to be the biggest loser, and he'll have to serve a 5-second penalty if has to pit again.
Will these mediums go to the end for Thiago and Giovanni? Just a thought. 16-lap old tyres. Got to do another 10. 26 laps is a very, very long stint on the mediums. Could be seeing a late dash into the pits for those two drivers. Nico with a penalty further back. Down in last place, though, is just coming for a new set of medium tyres. Angelo still the driver on the move on the back of said AlphaTauri of Giovanni.
Angelo's looking for a move on Giovanni, heading into Nivelle chicane, but he backs out at the last moment and will have to stay in 5th place. Looks like everyone's still keeping it clean, no cracks in the drivers so far as we filter through into lap 30 now. There'll be 10 laps left as Brando crosses the line. All the chaos happened midway through the race. It was just, we might have to watch that whole thing again.
Here comes Angelo, still 2nd time's a charm. Going to try around the outside of Sandoval. That is extremely brave. Little bit of a look at the rear. So Giovanni slides through turn number 1. Somehow they both keep it out of the Armco. And Angelo, for the time being, stays behind. Sends it up the inside. No! That was absolutely crazy. Never an overtaking opportunity. Way too late on the brakes and punts the AlphaTauri round going through Massenet. The stewards will definitely have something to say about that. Giovanni dropping down into 7th, maybe 8th and 9th as Tito and Sem come through Casino Square as well. But that wasn't the cleanest bit of driving from the 2nd Ferrari.
Yeah, but luckily Giovanni has no damage and he's back on the track now. He is currently, as it stands, 6th place after penalties. So Giovanni still have to keep on fighting. He's got his teammate ahead of him. There's a massive train behind him now. Angelo's got another penalty, so that might have done it justice there.
The situation out front is looking very interesting. Lifebout is going to have to overtake Thiago to win the race. The Williams has been dropping back further and further from the Ferrari in front. 7-lap older tyres, for Thiago. Lifebout's going to have to make a move. Angelo into the pits, maybe some damage sustained from that contact with Giovanni. I wonder if the AlphaTauri will come in as well at the end of the lap. But we're going to have to wait and see if Lifebout can make this move already on the back of the Williams and potentially making a pass up the hill into Massenet, but doesn't do what Angelo did there.
So Thiago will have to defend from Lifebout for 2nd place. Further back, there's a battle for 7th place, 6th place actually. Giovanni, Teddo, Sam, Lorenzinho, Zane, not Zane actually, just these 4 that I've just mentioned. Giovanni is trying to hold them off, and as Fraser up ahead as well. This is for 6th place, and it looks like it could be for 5th soon, because the two AlphaTauris there are probably, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll just hold him up for Fraser, perhaps, who has a penalty lingering over him. But Giovanni doesn't have a penalty, so I'm not sure what they're going to go about this for. But the two drivers on the podium that's not the leader, Thiago and Lifeboat, still fighting. This is not good for Lifeboat. He needs to get past, or Brando's going to run away with it. And Thiago's coming to the pits. So now Lifeboat has a free run. Lifeboat has a free run, and now Brando will be quaking in his own boots right now. He's just got to hope that there's no safety car, and they've got to be careful that they're driving through Larascas, the back markers do. As there's, oh my goodness, how did they make it through Anthony Knowles unscathed?
Crazy stuff, side by side. We now know the situation out front, though. It is a 7-lap sprint for Lifeboat to close 5.3 seconds on 7-lap newer and softer tyres. This is going to be a very interesting dynamic to see how it plays out. Already taking a couple of tenths out of the Ferrari. Brando has got to make sure he's consistent, but more importantly, fast. And
he's got to make sure that there's no safety car, does Brando, and he's got a 3-second disadvantage, so it's all to play for now. It doesn't look like it. The numbers don't lie, but believe me, anything can happen in this sport, as the drivers in the mid-pack fighting for what is now 4th place, which is led by Fraser and Giovanni and Tedo and Lorenzino and Stem and Zane and Nico fighting for 9th position. That is a move for Nico, but I think that was a mistake in the Universal chicane, so that does keep Zane on track for getting past, and he probably is going to anyway. He's got a penalty, has Nico. Sam, and that's Lorenzino fighting, and that's nearly Sam into the wall, but somehow he stays out of it.
Doesn't quite do a Michael Schumacher and parking it on the exit of Rascas, managing to keep that front wing intact. Lorenzino looking very racy at the moment in 7th, trying to get up into 4th place. Angelo fastest lap, but to no avail really, down in 12th and last of the remaining runners. The gap has come down 7.5 seconds. That, remember, is 4.5 with the penalty for Brando. Lifeboat is closing very, very rapidly. Is this a move around the outside for Tito into Mirabeau? Is there going to be space for the McLaren? Not quite, has to back out of it, but will he try to get up the inside? This one's not quite as clean, barges through and puts the AlphaTauri in the wall. Almost a little bit of ghosting involved. We've got some contact behind as well. I think Sem was in the barrier. Tito on the outside, ghosting once again. Surely there's no room. Lorenzino's involved. Surely we're not 3 wide in the tunnel. We are. This is crazy stuff, and somehow the Sauber's through.
This is going to end in tears. Who's going to get through? Lorenzino's got a penalty, but he had to duck and dive. That's quite a shame. I'm sorry we couldn't capture it. Darn you, Codemasters. We were seeing an incredible freeway battle in the tunnel.
3 wide to go into the tunnel, and somehow we were 3 still wide exiting the tunnel. Nico trying to send it up the inside of Giovanni, clatters into the side of the AlphaTauri, but barges through up into 8th place. Penalty looming over the head of the second Sauber driver, and now Thiago is going to say, I want a piece of that as well. But we've seen it is not easy to go around the outside of Sandoval. Is Thiago going to try? Walled very much right there, somehow manages to stay out of the Armco, and this should be nice. Pig wobble!
No! That's Giovanni into the wall again, and somehow he's it looks like he's kept it unscathed again.
That is one of the best saves I've ever seen. Was pretty much sideways going up the hill. Somehow all 4 wheels still attached to that AlphaTauri. Unbelievable stuff. He drives through the tyre smoke. Out in front, 3.5 seconds now the gap. 6.5 on the road with the 3-second penalty. Lifeboat is coming very quickly still at a rate of knots.
Thought it was going to be moved for Lorenzino. I have never seen 3 wide in any incarnation of any Formula 1 race, actually any race at Monaco, not just Formula 1, Formula E or historic racing. I have never seen 3 wide in anything in the tunnel. Tonight, I have just seen a first. For me anyway, and that's Nico going down the inside of Sam! 3 wide! Oh no! What is going on? This chaos just won't end, and they've got to be careful because they might be ruining Brando's race indirectly. And here we come through. It's Sem and Zane for the last 2 points positions. And it is Sem that stays ahead. The standards have reached chaotic scenes here. The absolute sight of this crazy race just gets even bigger as Lawrencino goes down the inside and overtakes Fraser for fourth place into Mirabel. The rest of the field now filtering through the hairpin as they're fighting now for I don't know what the score is right now because we don't know what's happening because I can tell you right now, Cheslar is in third place. How has he done that?
Just staying out of trouble. That's how Jeslat has done that. That was a rare, clean overtake from Lorenzini. The respect for each other seems to have gone out the window a little bit. It's almost like everyone's in a grudge match with each other, the way that they're fighting so hard for these minor points-paying positions. Thiago all over the back of Tito, who looked a little bit wobbly going through the swimming pool section, but Nico is now on the offensive trying to get 7th place back from the Williams. Can't quite send it up the inside into Raskas. Look at this. Is this what? 6 cars battling over 5th down into 10th. This has been one of the craziest races I have ever seen. Out in front, 4 laps to go. The gap has stabilised.
Yeah, the gap has stabilised, and now Brandel just has to hope there's no safety car. It can still come out unless he completes this lap, logically. And the cars are still fighting back there as well, so there's all sorts of implications happening wherever you go, not just about the lead. It isn't just about the lead, as Teno's trying to fight, and there's a slide in for Fraser down in the corner, but somehow he keeps it together, and now there's colliding everywhere in the hairpin as well. Teno has got his elbows out this entire race, and he won't stop for no one. I think Brando might be safe from a safety car intervening. He just has to keep that car on the track and keep it at full speed going. Oh no! There's 2 front wings gone, and both Thiago and Fraser have driver penalties. Oh no, this is too dangerous. They're gonna have to make it through the pits, and there's Tito behind, and they've got to be extremely cautious here coming through. Oh no, this is a disaster! But Nico takes advantage, and they're coming through.
Just stayed out with no front wing.
What is he doing? Tito is staying out without a front wing. Oh, he has a front wing. He has a front wing. It's pretty wide into Santa Vot. No, heroics into Santa Vot, please. It looks like they've listened to me. No, it's yeah, Fraser staying out with no front wing. What in the world is this race? I hope you've got a glass of water by your side, because I certainly have nothing. I wasn't prepared for this. I am in a hot room with no air conditioning, no water, and my lungs are starting to lose any breath I've got left.
Thiago, I think, just got a little bit overconfident, managed to finally get past the McLaren of Tito, fancied another move down into the Nouvelle chicane, but got it all wrong and clattered into the AlphaTauri of Fraser, who is now severely disadvantaged. Will Nico make it a Sauber 4-5? Pretty shortly, you would imagine pushing the AlphaTauri through the Nouvelle chicane to back is an extremely risky place to try and make an overtake, and quite sensibly stays behind.
Brando is 2.3 seconds ahead. His tyres are starting to wear, but so is Lightbouts, as Fraser has Nico behind him, and he has no wing. Why is he staying out? Surely that's a black and orange flag.
Probably thinks he can hold on to all of these places at the back. Zane trying to recover from his earlier blunder. Going to try and send it around the outside. Doesn't need to use the apex of the corner. Flies past the McLaren of Tito, who continues to tumble down into 9th place. Fraser still under huge pressure from the group behind. And around the outside we go with Nico. It wasn't very clean again, but manages to get up into 5th place. We've got a Ferrari in the wall at Sandoval. I believe that is going to be Angelo. Up the inside goes Zane, sending it on the Alpine. Sem! What is going on? Somehow Sem manages to hold on. Fraser, really the cork in the bottle for everyone, because the AlphaTauri is so slow with no front downforce on that car, but Nico has managed to barge through up into 5th. Fraser is now going to defend from the 3 cars behind.
It's the last lap. Brando is 1.2 seconds ahead. The gap is falling. The gap is falling. Remember, he has a 3-second penalty. I'll have to cut to this now because it is a penalty game now, and I should have the complete gaps there as well. Look how close they are. Fraser's still ahead, and he's got 10 seconds of penalties. He's holding them up. This surely is against the rules.
I think the stewards, like you said earlier, are going to be very busy into the wall. We've got a car park through Raskas. Zane manages to come out on top. Sem slipping back down into 9th place. Zane's going to try and line up a move against the AlphaTauri.
Lightboat's caught up! Lightboat's caught up! He's going to win the race! Brando needs to find an absolute miracle. He's got nothing left. Brando, neither does Lifeboat. It's going to be down to the wire. Brando is now... The gap is gone. The gap is gone as they're still fighting in the... What is going on here? They're still fighting in free... Oh, they've all got damage. No. Then there's a collision there between Zeno and Sam.
Brando's going to win, though. No, he's not. Lifeboat's brought it back.
Lifeboat has stolen at the last. Lifeboat wins. But now we have to cut to Fraser, who's still out there. He's going to get loads of penalties. Why is he not succeeding these positions? Tito is getting frustrated. It's affecting his races now. He's going to lose a position. It's Lifeboat by 4 tenths, ahead of Brando, ahead of Cheslar. Lorenzino in 4th, and should be keeping that, with Nico up 10 places to 5th. What a crazy race this has been. And they should all be filtering through, and Zane is going to get 6th. Fraser is coming through, who's done the last 4 laps with a front wing, finishes the race. It's going to go down several positions here, and it's going to be Sam in 7th, Giovanno in 8th, Tito in 9th, Fraser the last points position, Tiago in 11th, Angelo gets the last position, but this is a professional is an understatement.
Certainly. Yeah, I would expect this to change. Tune in next week to see how much this order has completely flipped. But Lifeboat recovering was one of the drivers that was in the wars early on in the race. Comes through to win for Haas. Brando just at the death, pipped and dropping into 2nd place there. And then it was absolute bedlam behind for the majority of it. Jesler doing extremely well to take 3rd, keeping out of trouble. Then the 2 Sauber cars. Lorenzino was last multiple times in that race, comes through to finish 4th ahead of Nico, who recovered pretty well as well from 15th on the grid. And then, well, we're getting into the slightly... what's the best way to put it? Dirtier battles that we saw. It wasn't the cleanest of races, was it? Zane, Sem, Giovanni, Tito, and Fraser completing our top 10 ahead of Tiago and Angelo, the outside of the top 10. And then 4 retirements. That feels like an age ago, Owen. And then Repasses crashes early on. Kaya and Tika retiring around there as well. That might be the most action-packed Monaco Grand Prix I have ever seen.
And you'll never see it in real life because everyone is too sensitive to anything, especially you, Yuki Tsunoda. But anyway, I am sorry if I lost my voice, if I went crazy screaming down the mic. I have never had any race, not just this race, any race so crazy I've ever seen. And I don't know if this will ever be topped, even though it was like they were all sort of far back. If you look into like lap 13, lap 14, it was really kicking off. But Lifeboat is your winner, but do not expect these positions to stand, with all due respect.
The race director does look for, it makes for grim reading. I spent about 20 or 30 seconds scrolling through all of the incidents. Good luck, stewards. You've got quite a job on your hands to review all of that. But that is Monaco. It is most likely that you will never see anything like that ever again. But yeah, it was certainly a spectacle.
Yeah, it was. I think Luca got off very lightly there. I think he just dropped out on his own accord in the first 4 laps.
Maybe that was the tactic. Tune in next week, though, because we will have quite the incident-packed updates for you. I think the thread with all the incidents could be about 4,000 pages long. Remember, links are down in the description to check out GT Omega. If you use the code PSGL, you will get a 5% discount for all of their products. And Sim Racing Centre, SRC, use the same code PSGL to get 10% off. Out of 10, how would you rate that? Because you could go a few different routes.
For myself, 0.24, but for action, 473.24 thousand.
I would probably concur with that. It was, certainly wasn't a boring one.
Yeah, I'd rather take this over Max Verstappen winning every week, thank you very much. We had just witnessed, well, I don't think we were watching F1, I think we were watching UFC.
I don't blame them. Certainly action-packed. I think we should move on from Monaco, move away from the past and the present, and move to the future. What's in store next week?
I forgot!
Oh
I
no!
actually
No,
forgot! It's Austria!
Oh no!
You said took the words right out of my mouth and I took it right out of yours. The damage was not on simulation, we can confirm. Definitely not on simulation.
Imagine if it was on simulation. Crazy. Next week, though, the Red Bull Ring at Austria could be equally as action-packed because that is certainly a race that lends itself to some hard racing and some potentially interesting battles going on. But that has been it from this week, and it has definitely been one of the more infamous races.
Yeah, after that race, I think I need to go and fly to Spain. Actually, not Spain. I'm probably going to go to Finland or something to cool off. Because, yeah, you just saw what happened, let's be honest. I'm going to rewatch this entire race and apologise to my mother and father why the hell I've been screaming my lungs out for the past 55 minutes, despite Newcastle United not playing tonight.
I didn't realise that I could still go as high with my voice as I did in some of those controversial moments. I didn't realise the voice box still had capacity for that.
Arsenal are 6-0 up.
Wow.
That's standard, though. It's Arsenal.
Should we wrap this one up, though?
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you for watching what was definitely not an F1 race. You definitely did not see any F1 race. I'm sorry, guys. It was It was a completely different sport we were watching tonight, and I'd like to apologise to anyone who was affected by the ongoings tonight. I hope you are doing well, because I certainly am not.
Oh dear.
Right, we're going to give every driver 50 lines. We're going to ground them for the next 6 days and make them do their driving tests again. Just kidding. They're totally fine. This is Monaco. You expect the unexpected. And we'll be back on Monday, and hopefully we'll have, for my sake, a more boring race next time.
Absolutely. Tune in next week. We will update you with what the stewards managed to decipher through all of the action that we saw. Remember to check out all of the links and partners in the description, of course. But yeah, until then, this has been quite the race.
Yeah, we will see you next week, same time, same place, 8 o'clock on the Monday, 11th of March. It's the Red Bull Ring. Gives you wings, and so does this. So see you next time. Until next time, watch out for the unknown from the Willy Wonka experience, and I will see you next week.